Imagine waking up on what feels like a perfectly normal morning. The sun is rising over a busy, beautiful city. The markets are already buzzing. Bread is baking. Children are running through the streets. And somewhere nearby, a mountain that your city has lived beside for centuries, is quietly deciding to end everything. That was the morning of August 24th, 79 AD, in the Roman city of Pompeii. And what happened next would freeze that entire world in time for nearly 2,000 years. This is the story of Pompeii's last 24 hours. And trust me, it is so much stranger, so much more heartbreaking, and so much more fascinating than anything you learned in school. Now, let's go back. Way back. To a city that was, by almost every measure, absolutely thriving. Pompeii in the 1st century AD was not some tiny, sleepy village. It was a proper Roman city, home to somewhere between 11,000 and 20,000 people, depending on who you ask. It had paved streets, a fully functioning sewer system, 2 theaters, an amphitheater that could hold 20,000 spectators, and more than 30 bakeries. 30. There were wine bars, called thermopolia, on practically every corner. There were wealthy merchants with gorgeous mosaic floors and elaborate gardens. There were street food vendors, brothels, temples, gymnasiums, and public baths. Pompeii was alive in every single sense of the word, and right at the edge of all of it, visible from almost anywhere in the city, was Mount Vesuvius. Now here's the thing most people don't realize. The people of Pompeii did not think of Vesuvius as a danger. They thought of it as a blessing. The volcanic soil on the slopes of that mountain was some of the most fertile land in the entire Roman world. Grapes grew there, olive trees, all kinds of crops. Farmers worked those slopes every single day. The mountain wasn't scary. It was home. But here's the twist. Vesuvius had actually been rumbling for years before the big eruption. There had been a serious earthquake in 62 AD 17 years earlier that damaged large parts of Pompeii quite badly. Buildings were still being repaired on the day of the eruption. The Romans knew the earth could shake. They just didn't connect the shaking ground to the mountain above them. The idea of a volcano, what it could actually do, was simply not part of how they understood the world. There's no Latin word for volcano, by the way. That word didn't exist yet. Vesuvius hadn't erupted in recorded memory, so why would anyone be afraid? That morning, August 24th, people were going about their day. Shops were open. A man named Terentius Neo, who we know from a painting found in Pompeii, may have been out near the Forum. Women were fetching water. Somewhere, a dog was tied to a post outside a house. We know this because of what was found later. The city was just living. And then, around 1 in the afternoon, everything changed. You won't believe what witnesses described. A young man named Pliny the Younger, just 17 years old at the time, was staying with his uncle across the bay in Misenum. His uncle, Pliny the Elder, was a commander of the Roman fleet and one of the most educated men in the empire. And from across the water, they both watched what happened next. Pliny the Younger later wrote it all down in letters, and those letters are the only eyewitness account we have of this entire event. He described seeing a cloud, not like any normal cloud, rising up from the mountain in the shape of a pine tree. A tall, mushrooming column of smoke and ash and rock blasting straight up into the sky. We now know that column reached somewhere between 20 and 30 kilometers into the atmosphere. 20 to 30 kilometers. That is almost twice the altitude of a commercial airplane. The eruption in those first hours was not lava flowing slowly down the mountain. That's the version people picture. What actually happened was something called a Plinian eruption, named actually after Pliny himself. Vesuvius was essentially exploding upward, shooting out millions of tons of ash, pumice, and rock fragments at enormous speed. Chunks of pumice, light, porous volcanic rock, began raining down on Pompeii like a stone hailstorm. Each piece wasn't huge, but imagine hail made of rock, falling constantly, hour after hour. Roofs started to collapse under the weight. People grabbed cushions to hold over their heads. Some tried to run. Some stayed inside, hoping it would pass. And this is where it gets heartbreaking. Many people actually had a window, several hours, in fact, where escape was possible. The pumice fall started in the early afternoon. It was terrifying, yes, but some people did flee. Archaeologists estimate that maybe 2/3 of Pompeii's population managed to get out before things got truly catastrophic. But the ones who stayed, whether because they didn't want to leave their valuables, couldn't move quickly enough, were trying to help others, or simply believed it would stop, those people were running out of time much faster than they knew. By evening, the ash layer on the streets of Pompeii was already knee-deep. Buildings were groaning. The sky had turned an eerie darkness. And then, sometime in the night or early morning hours, this is debated by historians, Vesuvius unleashed something far more deadly than pumice. Pyroclastic surges. This is the part that rewrites everything. A pyroclastic surge is essentially a superheated avalanche of gas, ash, and rock fragments moving down the mountain at speeds of up to 300 kilometers per hour. The temperature inside one of these surges can reach 500 degrees Celsius. That's over 900 degrees Fahrenheit. It is, for all practical purposes, unsurvivable. You cannot outrun it. You cannot shelter from it. It moves faster than a race car and burns hotter than a furnace. And multiple surges swept over Pompeii in the hours before dawn. Most people did not die from the pumice fall. They died from this, the heat, the surge. It happened so fast that their bodies were essentially frozen in place, mid-breath, mid-motion. And that is what created the haunting figures we see today. When archaeologists began excavating Pompeii in the 1700s and 1800s, they discovered hollow spaces in the hardened ash. Those hollow spaces were the shapes left behind by human bodies that had decomposed over centuries. A man named Giuseppe Fiorelli had the idea in 1863 to pour plaster into those voids. What emerged were perfect casts of the people of Pompeii, still crouched, still covering their faces, still clutching each other, frozen in their final moments with extraordinary detail. Most people don't know this, but archaeologists have found people and poses that tell whole stories on their own. There's the cast of a man who appears to be covering his face with his cloak. There's a family, a father, a mother, their 2 young daughters, found together, the parents apparently trying to shield the children. There's a dog still chained that clearly tried to climb above the rising ash layer before the surges came. That dog's cast is one of the most quietly devastating things in any museum anywhere in the world. And then there's the Garden of the Fugitives, a place where 13 people were found together, seemingly trying to escape the city at the last possible moment. Some of them are children, some are adults. They were all found in the same spot, overcome by the same surge. No one in that group survived. What do you think was going through their minds in those final moments? That's something I think about every time I look at those casts. Leave me a comment. I genuinely want to know what you think. Now here's something that adds a whole other layer to this story. For a long time, August 24th was accepted as the date of the eruption based on Pliny's letters. But in 2018, archaeologists excavating a new section of Pompeii found something that changed the conversation entirely. Written in charcoal on a wall, a kind of casual scrawl like a workman's note, was a date reference that pointed to mid-October, not August. And there were other clues too. Autumn fruits found in the debris, heavy winter clothing on some of the bodies, heating braziers that had already been brought out for the season. Many historians now believe the eruption actually happened in October, possibly around October 17th, not in late summer at all. For nearly 2,000 years, we had the wrong month. Isn't that wild? And here's another thing that gets me every time. Pompeii wasn't even the only city destroyed that day. The nearby town of Herculaneum, smaller, wealthier, closer to the mountain, was essentially obliterated. While Pompeii got buried under meters of ash and pumice, Herculaneum was hit by pyroclastic surges so intense and so fast that organic materials, wood, food, even papyrus scrolls, were carbonized rather than decomposed. Archaeologists there have found loaves of bread still sitting in their ovens, beds, furniture, actual written scrolls that are slowly, painstakingly being unrolled and read by modern technology right now. Right now, in 2024, we are still reading documents written by people who died in that eruption. If that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. Pompeii itself was essentially lost for over 1,500 years. It wasn't dramatically forgotten overnight, it just slowly slipped under the soil, under new construction, under the weight of centuries. By the Middle Ages, people knew there was something buried out there. They called the area La Civita, the city, but no one was quite sure what it was. It was only in 1748 that serious excavation began, ordered by the King of Naples, and what they found stunned the entire Western world: an intact Roman city, complete with its art, its graffiti, its food stalls, its social commentary scratched into walls. Pompeii gave us a window into daily Roman life that no amount of textbooks ever could. Because here's the thing, Pompeii isn't just a disaster story. It's a time capsule. It's a snapshot of ordinary human life on a completely ordinary day. The graffiti on the walls ranges from political campaign slogans to love declarations to insults about neighbors. Someone carved "Romula loves Staphylos" into a wall. Someone else wrote what is essentially the world's oldest recorded restaurant review, giving a thumbs down to the wine at a local bar. There are election posters, neighborhood gossip, a street musician's advertisement, real people with real feelings, real humor, real lives, all of it preserved in ash. That's what makes Pompeii so endlessly captivating. It's not just history, it's humanity. Frozen, yes. Gone, yes. But somehow, impossibly, still present. If you found this story as moving and fascinating as I did, please share this video with someone who loves history, or someone who just needs a reminder of how incredible and fragile and beautiful human life has always been. It truly means the world to this channel. We are still learning from Pompeii today. New excavations are ongoing. New technology is revealing things hidden for 2 millennia. Just a few years ago, researchers used X-ray scanning to read scrolls that have been sealed shut since 79 AD. Imagine what else is still waiting under that volcanic rock. Imagine what other stories, what other voices might still be in there, waiting for us to listen. Pompeii didn't just survive as ruins. It survived as a reminder that everything we build, everything we love, everything we take for granted on an ordinary Tuesday morning, all of it is precious. All of it is temporary, and all of it is worth remembering. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time here at Global Past, please subscribe. We go deep on the stories that shaped the world, and there is so much more coming that you are going to love. Drop a comment below and tell me, what part of Pompeii's story surprised you the most? Was it the date mystery, the pyroclastic surges, the plaster casts? I read every single comment, and I love hearing from you. Until next time, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.